And I know, of course, you've done a lot of work with puppets and puppeteering, and you and your wife do shows both live for schools, and you'll do it on Zoom.
Mhm.
Uh, is that a nice collaboration where you get to work with someone I assume you love and putting on a story? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
a nice change of pace from when it's just you and working alone on your stuff?
yeah. It's been really fun. It took a few years to like write the show and make the puppets, which are marionettes and shadow puppets. And she did a lot of that. She influenced me a lot on like how to make lightweight puppets out of foam instead of wood, which is what I was going to use. And I'm glad I didn't. And she has a whole set of talents that she's actually really good at theater and singing and creating like working with fabric and so creating the chickens costumes and outside parts. And I had more of knowledge of writing the script and building the inside of the puppets, making them to make them work. So the two of us together, we have a lot of fun when we visit kids and put on a show for them. And I love the immediacy of a show as opposed to like writing a book and sending it out into the world and waiting for people to read it and then waiting for them to say something about it. It's nice to have the live show just in front of an audience and get their reaction right away. It's That's really a pleasure and it's a good counterpoint to the rest of what I do.
And I know you guys have two children in addition to the bunny. So are they at the phase where they like the puppet show and you can put the show on or a different show on at home for them? Or have they reached the phase of, oh my God, mom and dad, that's so embarrassing. Please put your chicken puppets away.
they're they're 9 and 13, so they're sort of in between, and they're very they're very nice kids. Like they haven't rebelled that much so far. Although my daughter wants to bleach her hair now, and she's 9, so we're we're not letting her do that. But they also enjoy playing with the puppets, so that like if we just leave out the set and the puppets, they'll put on their own shows. And we've had some really funny videos of them just improvising stuff. And I think they appreciate the silliness of it and the creativity of it. So they're not totally embarrassed yet. We'll see what happens in a couple of years.
Well, probably like most adolescents, they'll be briefly embarrassed by everything that you ever do. And then they'll come back around like, oh, you know what? Growing up with in a family where interrupting chicken was we had David Ezra Stein right there the whole time all through our childhood. This was actually kind of magical, and then they'll be telling stories forever, the legend of how nice it was to grow up with the puppets and the art and everything, right?
Well, that would be nice. I mean, I just want them to have a good life and pursue their talent. And my daughter's really into dance, so she's dancing like 3 or 4 times a week, and she just does it for fun at home. And my son is very good at music and all kinds of things like animation. So yeah, just I think just seeing parents that are creative is going to be, a good role model for them and show them the possibilities. But then they have to kind of steer themselves towards what they're interested in.
Let's get that they're creatively inclined. I can't think of anything more frustrating than being in a house of artists and being like with secret burning ambitions to be an accountant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about my son. He may become like an engineer or something. He loves to draw maps and create worlds and like name stations on subways and things like that. So and design like station platforms. So he may be the engineer. He has a lot of that in his DNA from like his grandparents and stuff. So we'll see. Whatever he wants to do is okay with me, as long as he loves it.
I know at this point your books have been translated into Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Spanish, just more languages than not almost. They are available worldwide, and of course, because they're so art centric, these are stories that transcend. Even if you didn't have the translation there, you would still be able to pick it up and still get the vibe of the story and the characters and feel that. So do you have a sense of how much of an impact these stories have had worldwide? Do you get to hear from your readers?
Somewhat, yeah. I do hear from people on Facebook, like some teachers that in Mexico that posted a version of Interrupting Chicken the other day, and they had their kid read the chicken, and they read one of them was the narrator, the other parent was the dad. So it was in Spanish, and I hadn't really read the book in Spanish carefully, although I do like understand some Spanish, but seeing it read in Spanish on the YouTube was really cool. I mean, it was amazing, and just the fact that they did it as a family was very sweet. And so, yeah, I do get some glimpses into those things. I hear more from people in America, but I know a lot of my books are in China and in Korea, so it'd be nice to hear more from those people and maybe even visit at some point in an adventurous kind of way. That would be exciting.